What is a reefer vessel? A reefer ship is a special form of cargo ship. As the name suggests, it is used to transport goods that must remain refrigerated during the entire transport or where the cold chain must not be interrupted. These are usually meat or fish, but fruit such as pineapples or bananas etc. can also be transported in a refrigerated ship. Statistics show that between 1880 and 1960 meat was the most important chilled cargo internationally, and the techniques of preservation and cooling have become more and more efficient over the years. Principle and working of different types of refrigerated cargo. 1. Closed reefer. This is a conventional type refrigerated container. It comes in one piece with integral front wall and an all-electric automatic cooling and heating unit for ISO-going containers. 2. Modified/controlled atmosphere, MA/CA, reefer containers. These type of insulated shipping containers maintain a constant atmosphere by replacing consumed oxygen using an air exchange system, keeping an ideal atmosphere in equilibrium with the product's deterioration rate. 3. Automatic fresh air management containers, popularly known by its acronym, AFAM. Reefer containers uses advanced technology to regulate the air combination by automatically adjusting the scale of fresh air exchange. It works similar to controlled atmosphere refrigerated container, controlling the composition of oxygen, carbon dioxide, and others. The controls of the AFAM refrigerated containers can be adjusted to influence and extend the shelf lives of the cargo they carry. Since when do reefer vessels exist? It can be assumed that even in ancient and later times, there were already some reefer vessels on the way. After all, cooling with ice was already known, so that, to put it simply, a refrigerated ship was a ship with integrated cooling. The first vessels with a specially designed construction for this purpose date from the 1870s. Initially, meat was transported directly in ice, but later on, cold air was used and snake-shaped pipes filled with brine were used for cooling. These methods all worked on shorter distances, but were not suitable for overseas transport. In 1874, the French reefer vessel frigorifique was the first to use this method. The engineer Charles Tellier integrated 3-methyl ether compressor refrigeration machines and ensured that beef was transported from Argentina to Europe, namely to Rouen in France, for the first time towards the end of the decade. At the same time, absorption refrigeration systems on the steamer Paraguay were also successful, in this case on the route between Buenos Aires and Le Havre, and in 1879 the British vessel Strathlevin sailed from Sydney in Australia to London with an air refrigeration machine and 40 tons of mutton. All these methods proved to be feasible, so that in the following years the transport of meat between South America and Europe or Australia and Europe by a reefer ship flourished. How does a reefer vessel work? The methods by which a modern reefer vessel works have been known for more than 100 years, but have been refined and made more efficient. They work with compressors that are usually equipped with ammonia, a refrigerant that has been banned in the meantime. From the outside, a reefer ship can hardly be identified and looks almost like a classic freighter. Only the white color and the somewhat slimmer design can be mentioned as indicators. The holds inside a reefer vessel consist of decks of 2.20 meters height each, which are called the cooling zone. Whether 1 or 2 decks form the zone can vary, as can the temperatures. It should be noted that a refrigerated ship is not necessarily able to transport frozen goods below 0 degrees Celsius, but is also capable of transporting fruit to its destination at low temperatures. This is made possible above all by insulation against high, tropical, outside temperatures and compression refrigeration systems. Inside there are numerous measuring points, thanks to which temperatures are constantly monitored. In addition, due to its purpose, a reefer ship is often more heavily motorized and reaches higher speeds. Since the 1970s, refrigerated containers have also been used, in which the refrigeration technology inside the container is fully automatic. Since the 1970s, refrigerated containers have also been used, in which the refrigeration technology inside the container is fully automatic. In the meantime, there were also porthole containers which had to be connected to the ship's cooling system, but this technology is no longer up to date. The Reefer Vessel, History and Future. If one takes a look at the history of reefer vessels, it is by no means limited to the transport of meat since the 1870s. Rather, the transport of bananas and other fruits has received at least as much attention. Before the introduction of refrigerated ships and the corresponding techniques, the perennials were harvested unripe, ripened on the ship, and between 30 and 60% had to be disposed of at sea because they reached maturity too early. At the beginning of the 20th century, banana freighters were still sailing without refrigeration and were characterized above all by speed. The first banana ships as reefer vessels were developed by the United Fruit Company in 1903. 1 year later, the first ships of this type were already in series production. Important for the early transport of bananas and ripening fruit was the removal of heat as well as CO2, ethylene and water from the hold to prevent post-ripening. The future is more than uncertain for reefer vessels, as refrigeration now takes place in the containers. In other words, there is no longer any need for ships with their own refrigeration systems, as the entire technology can be accommodated decently without any problems. Already at the beginning of the 21st century, half of the reefer cargo to be transported was transported in containers specially designed for this purpose, with a strong upward trend. Refrigerated cargoes include meat carcasses, carton, packed, meat, fruit, cheese, butter, fish, and offal. Ships are specifically designed for their carriage, with separate spaces in holds and tween decks, each fitted with suitable insulation and individual control of ventilation. What are the three types of refrigerated cargoes? Refrigerated cargo is divided into three categories. Frozen cargoes. These cargoes are carried in a hard frozen state at temperatures around -8°C to 12°C to prevent the growth of bacteria, e.g. meat, butter, poultry, and fish. Chilled cargoes and cooled cargoes is the cargo which preset temperature exceeds 0 degrees centigrade and is not frozen. What are the ventilation requirements for refrigerated cargo? Most refrigerated containers therefore incorporate ventilation arrangements. For chilled cargoes, temperature-controlled air is circulated around the cargo by fans at a rate of around 4,000 cubic meters/h. Fresh air requirements vary in the range from 25 to 250 cubic meters/h and are typically in the range 25 to 75 cubic meters/h. What are the dunnaging requirements for refrigerated cargo *? Dunnage over refrigerated cargo spaces. On sheath decks, approximately 76 mm, 3, of dunnage is sufficient. Hatch combings, steel ladders, etc., should be well covered. What is the most common problem in refrigerated shipping containers? Leakage. The Reefer Cargo Handling course aimed to extend the knowledge of this unique and increasingly important sector of the shipping industry. The course explores the important factors that influence the transport of perishable goods and provides the learner with an appreciation of the who, what, where, why and how of refrigerated cargoes. With assistance of industry professionals, the Reefer Cargo Handling course has been designed to provide practical and relevant information to all supply chain participants.
The world's middle-income population increases. So too does the demand for diverse produce from overseas. Cross-border trade is expanding, as more people can afford to satisfy their desire for produce from overseas. Perishables like fruit and vegetables continue to breathe after harvest. They consume oxygen while releasing CO2, water content, as well as ethylene. Without a carefully controlled environment, it's not possible to ship them over long distances, as they would spoil by the time they reach their destination. Daiking Active CA is here to protect cargoes and make it possible for more products to be transported safely by sea. Adapted from Daiking's oxygen concentrator, which was developed for medical usages, Daiking Active CA creates a nitrogen-rich gas from the outside air and supplies it into the container, rapidly reducing the inside oxygen concentration to its optimum level. This puts the produce to a sleep mode faster than the passive CA systems that rely on cargo respiration to bring the oxygen down. By putting the cargo to sleep fast, the shelf life is extended and water loss is prevented, making it viable for voyages that take a month or more. The nitrogen-rich gas injected into the container also includes moisture, which maintains humidity. This safeguards the quality of produce that is vulnerable to the dry air of the container, preventing weight loss on arrival at its destination. Daiking Active CA has a higher tolerance on the container's airtightness that enables the longer use of equipment compared to passive systems that have a stringent airtightness requirement. This is thanks to the positive pressure created by the Daiking Active CA system, which prevents the outside air from entering the container, making it viable for containers regardless of age that pass the airtightness test. In addition, Daiking Active CA kits are retrofittable to CA provision Daiking units at your desired location. This reduces repositioning expenses and meets seasonal peak export requirements, which expands and optimizes your business. Daiking Active CA offers 4 main advantages. 1. Puts the product to sleep on the first day, which extends shelf life and prevents water loss. 2. Maintains the humidity inside the container, widening your cargo variety. 3. Longer CA application, reliable and precise CA management with positive pressure. 4. Retrofittable CA options to expand your business.